Hello, everybody, and welcome to Discourse in Magic. My name is Jonah.
My name is Tyler.
And we are here, I was going to say with, but we're not with anyone. This is episode 122. And as
we're not even together.
We're not even together, no. This has been, I haven't seen the faces of many magicians for a few months. I've been out and about, and we'll talk about that in a sec, but...
You've been creating magicians.
I have been creating magicians. I've been creating little tiny magic people all over Canada. And I've got some exciting news about maybe going to the Americas to maybe do something fun. But yeah, here we are, episode 122. How's life been? How's your last month been?
It's been good. I've been doing a lot more video stuff, which is really fun. And I have been doing a little bit more magic for my work, which is cool.
In what way?
Basically just through Instagram and stuff like that. In our stories, I'm always trying to do magic with our products. And, you know, everyone who knows me at work and knows I do magic is always asking me to try to work a magic trick into a video somewhere. So I'm constantly trying to do stuff with that, yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot of magic in the last month that have been floating around. You know, FISM happened, America's Got Talent has happened. A lot of things like that have happened. Maybe something jumped into your radar that you were looking or thinking about.
Honestly, I've been watching a lot of other people watch magic, if that makes sense. Since I do magic now, whenever I come into work, my manager's always watching Fool Us or some magician, and I get to be like, oh, yeah, check that one out. That one's really good, which is kind of cool. Shin Lim seems to be really in my circle lately. He's all over people's feeds.
Yeah, well, he made it past the judges' cuts in America's Got Talent, and he's doing very well.
Oh, wow, that's very exciting. See, I'm not keeping up with it. And in terms of like learning stuff, I just been going through Jay Sankey's videos to see what's on there.
It is so amazing.
Yeah.
Jay Sankey's videos on YouTube are absolutely unreal. Like, if you are in your first 5 years or 10 years of magic, there is no better resource. For sure. Yeah, it's such a fantastic thing. Anything on there that stood out to you?
Man, there's so much.
Yeah.
The fact that he's teaching the card and balloon thing,
yeah,
card through balloon thing on his channel blows my mind. Like, I remember being a kid and like, how do you do this, and wanting to know. Yeah. And now he's like, here's how I used to do it, and here's a better way, which is super cool.
Yeah, and he's just like showing. Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, he's just really he's trying to build like a legitimate free resource for young magicians or new magicians, right? And even if you're a veteran, like, you can go through it and just remember some things you forgot that you learned in your first few years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's just really good material in there, honestly.
What about you? Anything exciting happening in your online magic world?
Yeah, I mean, well, magic I'll start with what's going on with my life. So this month, magic has just been crazy. I've been on tour all over at camps and just like nonstop. I think at this point, I've done close to 70 either shows or workshops in the summer. And I've got another probably 30 or 40 left.
Wow.
Which is very exciting. So that's interesting. And then I have a secret project happening in LA on August 18th and 19th. So if you are listening to this and you live in LA, then please send me a message so that I can make sure that you're a part of it. There's going to be very, very, very limited attendance. It's going to be the most amazing thing that I have ever been a part of in my life so far. That is basically all that I can tell you right now, as things are, final pieces are falling together. But I encourage you, if you're from LA, to send me a message.
I'm so curious now.
I know. Well, I'll tell you offline some more details, but I can't really talk about it, even though it's so ridiculously exciting. But
just trust Jonah and send him a message.
Trust me if you're in LA or near LA or whatever on the dates of August 18th or 19th, then you should give me a call. And yeah, and it's just been hectic to be away from everything, you know, like I was just joking before, you were saying like we're not in person, and I haven't seen so many of my magic friends. It's sort of been just me, and I felt like I understand how other people feel about, like I think about ideas, and in some ways I've been coming up with maybe ideas at a faster rate because it's just me and my brain. I'm not talking to other people about it all the time, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah,
Like
no,
I'm
for
just
sure.
able to come up with more ideas. But then on the other hand, like I feel like maybe I need someone to tell me that the ideas are stupid, or like I have an idea for a trick right now that came to me a few days ago, and like I don't know if it's smart or stupid, and
Right,
I'd
no.
like to do it soon.
I feel you there. I came up with a trick, and I haven't done like a full trick, start to finish, and I haven't come up with one in a very long time where I felt like I've completed and got what I wanted out of it. So I'm hesitant to show it to people because I was kind of proud of it, and now that I'm sitting here just sort of steeping in it, I'm like, what the fuck was that about? What was the point?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I have a new trick, and I'm worried I'm going to do it for an audience, and that none of them are going to be fooled. And I'm going to be like, damn it.
Yeah.
But whatever. That's sort of part of the game, and it's also a reason why I'm excited for newest trick to come back in whatever September or so, because I'm excited to get back to regularly trying things now that I have a big bank of ideas built up. So that's very good. And in terms of online things that have passed through my eyes, really, I'm very, very, very excited about Shin Lim. It's close-up card magic in America's Got Talent, done by somebody who, I hope this maybe this is a little bit mean, but I'll say it anyways. Close-up card magic done by somebody who I don't feel that they're a better close-up card magician. Like when someone on America's Got Talent goes and does like ambitious card okay, and then they move on to the next round like they haven't in previous years, I kind of feel all like bummed out, like I'd rather one of the top magicians in our industry be the people that are doing it and not like Joe Magic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%.
So it's just very exciting to see Shin Lim making it. Every year someone in our industry makes it pretty far, but this is very exciting. I don't know.
Yeah, and like you're not seeing sponge balls. You're seeing something that is it's a standalone in itself, right? Like it's not something that you could read in a book. It's
totally. It's
own
pieces
thing.
of an act that he's putting together for the show, and it's unique and it's awesome, and it's like, and I look forward to them coming out, and it's like that's what we want. So I'm very happy. I'm very excited to see where it goes, and I'm going to be. I'll say this because people keep asking me about the magic conventions that I go to. So I am very excited to say that I will this year be going to Magi Fest. Ta-da!
Whoa!
In Columbus, Ohio. So Tyler, you should come. That's number one, because you should come. But number two is if you're a magician, then come to Magi Fest, or make sure that you come and say hi, because I don't travel that far into America all that often. So yeah, come say hi to me.
Yeah, I'm hopefully I'll be able to be there. When is it? How far away is it?
It's in Ohio, and it's in January, the middle of January.
January seems like there's some time between now and then where I can get my life in order and get to Magi Fest.
Right? Like, it seems reasonable. And you ready for the twist? The twist is this. There's a Juan Tamariz workshop.
What? Are you in? Did you get it?
Of course I'm in. That's why I'm going. And there's a Guy Hollingworth workshop. I didn't get it. I didn't go to the Guy Hollingworth, even though he's amazing. But I just figured after sitting all day in the Tamariz one, I wouldn't want to go into another workshop immediately after. But
yeah, and like you would almost not be doing Hollingworth justice. Like you wouldn't be able to soak in that much magic.
yeah, and after a weekend full of magic, I just figured I really wanted to pick one. Plus, I'm a big Tamariz fan, so that'll be very exciting. If anybody's going to be there, they should come. You should. I think the Tamariz thing is sold out, but we know the owners, we know the people who are running the conference, so we'll see what we can do if you can make it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
What else? What else is going on in your creative side?
well, I've been working on. I guess this will hint at the LA project, but really it's a different type of show. It's a close-up sort of experience that we're going to be putting together. So that's a lot of the shows that I'm doing on my camp tour, and I've been able to test out a lot of things for this new project. That's a highly interactive show. So that's what's been on my mind a lot. And I'm working together with someone who is very smart, but does not know magic like I know magic.
Okay, if you're a listener to this podcast and you don't know what's going on,
Yeah, you can
LA
put it all
now,
together. You can put it all
like,
together, but
come on now.
I just don't want to say it. Keep it a surprise. But you can figure it out if you knew. But basically, that's what I'm excited about, because I've been working on things that are specific to this close-up environment, and that's been exciting for me because I think that I am best there, at least as it stands right now, and being able to do things that are elaborate and not just, a lot of close-up stuff is like packs really small, like being able to do impromptu, being able to, this would be one location and I would be able to do very interesting things. So that's what I'm.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Like,
So we're making some moves there, and yeah, I don't know what's new with me is my mind is all about performing right now, and I've just been getting real performance time on my show, and I've been adding and twisting and tweaking different things and trying out different styles. I know I'd been wanting to do a lot of that unbelievable style, right? So like I'm very obsessed with potions, for example. So I have someone drink a potion.
Right.
But one of the things that maybe we've spoken about before, but I've just really found to be true this summer in doing my shows is the potion thing is stronger if I don't talk about things as ridiculous as potions for 80% of the show, right? Because then it's do you want to know about real magic? If I go up there and I'm talking ghouls and potions and da-da-da-da-da, then it just seems like I'm telling a kid's story, or so far that's the way that it feels. I'm trying to find a way so that when I introduce something as ludicrous as a potion, they're forced to wrestle with the knowledge that it's not real, but the experience that it really is. And when I come up with a lot of out there presentations in the act, it maybe makes the act too ridiculous. So that's something that I've been playing with and thinking a lot about in my act. And I've been noticing that it's helpful to do most of the show as sort of regular stuff and then go into, do you want to know my real secret? Or do you want to know how this really, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It would be kind of fun to do like a Darren Brown-esque, like I'm just using pseudoscience to do all my magic, and then have that played up and jokey, you know what I mean? And then like fully commit emotionally to the potions.
You could do a show where the first 75% is hardcore mentalism, and then you're like, do you want to know how I do it all? I can't really read minds.
Have you seen the
it's
movie
mind
Limitless?
reading potion.
Like,
exactly, yeah. Bingo. And then you like have medication, and then your powers are stronger, and the last 25% of the evening are just crazy of your show are just crazy because they're forced to wrestle with this unbelievable idea of how the show went, and that's interesting because it's the contents of the show is about the show and about the experience. So when they leave it, they think critically about what they saw. I've been thinking about, actually, that's an interesting thing to talk about. So I've been thinking about when people talk about the experience of magic in their magic trick. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people all the time they'll talk about the experience of experiencing magic as the theme of their trick. And part of me says that that's very strong because it's very meta, and magic really begs the questions of, is this real? Is this happening? How is this happening? So to address those directly in ways of a trick is awesome. The other part of me says it's like writing a speech about you having to write your speech. Yeah. Exactly.
Hey, that won first place in my high school, okay? And I was angry. I was so mad.
Yeah, to me it's very silly. So what's your thoughts on it? Do you think that there's really good ways to do it? Do you think that there's
that's actually sort of what the trick that I'm doing is kind of about. But it's not about like me telling a story of a time that I experienced it or giving examples of it. The point of the trick is for them to sort of question what it is that they're experiencing. So I say that I have a prediction in the card box, written on the back of a point, or sorry, I have a prediction in the card boxes where I leave it, and then I go through the cards and they name any card that they want. They write their name on the back of it. It disappears or goes into the deck or whatever. And then the whole time I'm asking them questions about whether or not they think I can predict the future, or whether or not I could force them to name a specific card, or whether or not anything that they've just experienced was real and I just hypnotized them. And they're not really left with an answer. Like, all answers are sort of possible by the end of it, if that makes sense. Is this only interesting to me? Would this even be experience-able to somebody? Like, would they...
Never mind interesting, because I think that if I sat down with a human being and we were talking, I could talk about these things in a way that it's interesting. My question is, if I'm in a show setting with people...
Is it clear?
Yeah. Does me talking about this thing for so long share the level of clarity that I need? I had a trick that I did when I opened a show for Chris Mayhew. And I was working on this trick mostly in my head for this very long time. And it was this intricate thing where someone gave me a bill because I was actually from the future, and my grandfather took a photo of me as a kid in an envelope and they signed the bill. And then at the end, when I revealed the photo of me as a kid holding a bill, the bill had the same serial number and it had the same signature as the random person from the audience. And there was no stooges or anything like that. So it was a clever trick. It was a clever method. But the problem is I stood up there and for 4 minutes, I talked about time travel and my grandfather and the paradox and going back in time and me being there. And by the time the trick happened, nobody cared. Nobody had any idea what was going on. They were ordering drinks. They were getting food. And I'm always thinking, like, what is the best way to capture attention? And are the best pieces of magic the simplest when we say, this is what's going to happen, and then it happens, you know? Or something is assumed to happen and then it happens.
Yeah, see, that's why I really appreciate performers such as Nick Wallace, is because what actually happens in the effect is very clear, but the routine itself is very deep and engaging, and you're not confused about what the outcome was, but you're on a ride the whole time. That's not A to B. You know what I mean? It's A to B to C to D to all the way to Z.
And even just to comment on it, like, the information that he's saying is intellectual, but the concepts of the tricks, the premise, it's so easy to understand. And he's able to go deep into things and use very clever language, but the concepts are very easy to understand. And you always have to think, just like a teacher, what we're doing most of the time, which is unfortunate, is we do need to make sure that our performance gears to the lowest common denominator of, maybe not gears to, but is acceptable to them. Like, if you imagine that there's averagely smart people, and then there's very smart people, and then there's very stupid people, and there's stupid people, you know, you have to make sure that you're gearing a little bit below 50%. You can't lose more than half your audience because you're too witty or too intellectual.
Yeah, but you also can't, you know,
be stupid.
You have to cater to everybody, right? Like, you don't want to do a stupid performance.
You don't want to dumb your stuff down.
Yeah, exactly. You want it to be clear enough that, you know, I hate to speak about human beings like this, but the lower rung of intelligence can follow along, but the higher rung is still stimulated throughout the routine itself, or throughout the lesson if you're a teacher, whatever.
What you're saying is right. It's about reaching both people at once. It's like what Chris Westphal said a long time ago as a kids magician, that, like, you're there to win over the kids, but you're secretly there to win over the adults, but you're really there to win over the kids, right? So you want jokes that go over the kids' heads, but the adults get, and then you want the bulk of your jokes to be especially for the kids. And what I think you're saying is right, that you sort of need to gear it to both of them. But yeah, I've been thinking about a lot of presentations and doing a lot of presentations that are about experiencing the presentation or about experiencing magic. And I don't know. And if you're listening to this, let me know what you think about that. Yeah. And I want to know if people think if you should make your magic as intellectual as possible, or if really there's a level where you need to make sure that your audience is not being lost at your clever wit and brilliant scripting, but rather you need to focus on the effect being as clear as possible so that everybody can understand while you have clever wit and so on and so on.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that we also need to just examine whether or not, if they want to think about thinking about magic at all. Like if they, like some people come to either see the trick or think about how the trick works. They don't want to think about how the trick made them feel. They don't want it to be layered on itself.
Yeah, like are we ruining it by talking?
Yeah.
Totally. Are we ruining the one thing that they came for? They came to experience the bliss of magic and to be lied to, bold-faced and whatever, and giving them something like, I don't know. And then part of me thinks back to reading the A Bandit book, about Del Gaudio and Glenn Kainoa. I'm saying his last name wrong, and in that book, they talk about magic as an art, and they brush on a lot of topics which says about magic, stop being corny and ridiculous and start treating yourself like art. And
right.
I'm always interested where that line is. Where should we be pushing things to be as intellectual and smart and thought-provoking as possible? Or do you just want to see the goddamn rabbit come out of the goddamn hat? Like, what's the story? And I'll answer my own question, as always, but just from my own experiences, and I want to know what people think, but both are right. I can eat a balloon, and I can also tell someone that hopefully the magic they see in the show reminds them of the impossible things they see in their everyday life, right? Like, I think both of those can be true. I don't know if they can happen simultaneously in a show, but I think both of those are potential.
That would be an amazing closer. Like, you end with the endless possibilities of everything possible in your amazing magical life, and then you just deep throat a balloon. Like, you say that line and then just shove a balloon down your throat.
For me, my dream was always to eat a balloon. So let's talk a little bit about Fool Us. So let's talk about, first of all, it's just at its best quality that it's ever been ever. And honestly, I'm sad to say that I'm not watching every episode, but the magic level is just out of this world. But I wanted to talk specifically about one, how very exciting it is that the sentimentalists fooled Penn and Teller, which was just very exciting because a lot of people from Ontario region have gone to that show, which is very exciting. And the Sentimentalists are the first so far that fooled them, which is
repping the
super
six.
Cool. Exactly. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is that I'm really excited because Nick Wallace is going to be on it, and I wonder what of the few. I mean, I've seen him do quite a bit, and like what in his act he's going to do because he's so amazing, and I'm just so excited for the world to see it and like to feel as. And obviously I mean this in the best way, but to feel as creeped out by his material. So that's really exciting to me. It's just cool. I feel like the people around me, I feel like I see people around me going to Fool Us and making it and people going up and up and up. And it's like, it's just cool. Like,
we got to get them to, whoever's competing next should try to get Penn and Teller on.
Dude, they'll be like, thank you so much for the opportunity. Really, more than anything, what I'd like you to do is go on my friend's podcast.
Yeah,
that
please,
would be very cool.
Please.
I wanted to ask a question to the audience, which is, if we were to start having on non-magician guests to talk about things that are about these ideas, but maybe tangential, that a magician wouldn't have total or as encompassing knowledge about, who would you want us to have? So I'll give you some ideas and thoughts. One person might be a manager or someone who does bookings. One person might be someone who knows a lot about websites or Google. So what excites you of what I mentioned and of what you can come up with?
There's a very large range of people that we could have on. Like there's no holds barred, so send in your ideas.
Well, something that reminds me about wanting to talk about it, maybe we can find somebody who is most qualified to talk about, but I want to talk about the comfortability of deception. And this is something that I think about to myself all the time, and I'm constantly discussing with people. And I don't know if we've ever spoken about this on the podcast or in great detail, but the question is it enjoyable to be fooled? Like, how can we, or are we just making people feel shitty at our job and we're lying about it?
Yeah, I think personally, I feel like if you get fooled and the intent was malicious and the outcome is bad, then it hurts like really deeply. Like you feel stupid and you lost out because of your own stupidity, and that sucks. But being fooled and learning from it is awesome. You know what I mean? And I don't mean learning, oh, now I know how to make a card jump to the top of the deck, but learning that that is something that someone out there can do, right? It's like the first time you see someone do a backflip. It's just like magic. It's a new information thing going on in your brain. You're like, wow, humans are cool. But now that I think about it, if I had never met a magician and I saw a magic trick and I was like, cool, show me how to do that. And he was like, no. I'd be like, why? And he'd be like, because I don't want you to know how I do it.
Because the secrets are how I make my living and other people not knowing it. And it's like, it's strange. I don't know. Now, obviously, magic isn't just hurtful because magicians would, David Copperfield wouldn't be a billionaire if magic was just mean, and it hurt. But the question is what makes magic go from, haha, I tricked you, to an impossible moment that people get to experience? It is a very big question, I, for one, do not know what the answer is. But I do know that I think all about it. What else? Anything else that's on your mind about magic or about... I'm about to go see Ryan Edwards' show, by the way, for the first time, right after this recording. Because I'm
about to go to a staff party, and I'm going to do some magic at the bar there, I think.
Oh, that's very exciting.
So that'll be exciting, yeah.
I remember last time on the episode with you and I spoke about the baguette and silk trick.
Yes.
Which I've done a few times, and it went not well. Not very well. People enjoyed it, but a large number of people approached me telling me that they figured out how the trick worked. So, I need to be better at the tools that are used in that trick, but B, and more importantly, I have to figure out something a little bit different because I don't think it's going to work out. I think, and this is actually, I guess I'll sort of ruin the tools, but I still think it's worth mentioning. Do you think that a thumb tip cannot just be used as a thumb tip, like put a silk in your hand and make it vanish, because 1 to 3% to 5% of the population knows what it is and it's just unavoidable, right? Like, or things like, or a related question is, might we as magicians stop being able to use double lifts because people know what that is, or does it just mean our double lifts need to be more perfect and our thumb tip handling needs to be more right? Like. Yeah,
I'm an option B kind of guy.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's specifically in regards to the double lift. I don't think that'll ever be like even, I think that'll probably become one of those default answers. You know what I mean? Like when you see a stage show and someone's in the back going, magnets! Or, mirrors. You'll do a trick that doesn't use a double lift and someone will say, double lift. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't really think that's the direction that's going in. I just think
according to my friend Gil, that's what people in China say whenever
they say double lift?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
According to him.
Well, I mean, if he said that that's true, then that's true. But my thought is just that so many people know what it is, even if it's not. I'm not talking about 60% of people, but I am talking about like 5 or 10. And like,
yeah,
do you have to come up with bonkers techniques to fool those people with a thumb tip, or might it just be a prop that is known too much about? Right? Like, is there? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, think about the Jerks application for the thumb tip, the magician fooler thumb tip. Right?
Yeah. I'm not saying there's not ways around it. There's definitely ways around it. I'm just worried that might 5% of the audience know? Like, might 3% of the audience know? Like for example, there's people that just understand or just learn somewhere on a viral video how to do the toxic calculator trick.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore.
But that's an example of what I'm talking about here, yeah. Right? Like, if 4% of your audience comes up to you after the show and says, I know how you did the calculator thing, like, is it just a matter of audience management, or might something have just been exposed to a percentage?
Most people who learn what a double lift is off of YouTube will still be fooled by a double lift because when they do it, they have to hold them with the
fair,
grip, right?
But do you hear what I'm saying about the calculator?
I know,
and the
I
thumb
understand
tip
what you're
and,
saying fully. Like, yeah, I feel that way fully about Toxic. I feel like that trick has been ruined for a lot of people, not everybody. It still is very usable. I just personally don't do it. I feel the same way about French Kiss. A lot of people know how that works.
And I feel the same way right now about Rubik's Cube magic. Like,
yeah, no,
because even people don't know
dead.
people don't know how it works, but everyone is like, oh, I saw a guy doing that on America's Got Talent. And you are not as good as America's Got Talent. Like, whoever you are,
exactly.
right? So it's there's nothing that you can say. There's no way that you can take that. So I don't know. I think about maybe tricks and ideas and premises might have a shorter shelf life with this America's Got Talent virality type of thing going on,
Yeah, and we talked about this in the early days of the podcast, and I think that magic will overcome no matter what the outcome is. I think we'll just have to push forward. You know what I mean? The information age won't kill us, but
I just wonder if that means that we're like, the thumb tip isn't fooling anymore. Or that's just an example. Or the toxic calculator trick is not fooling anymore, or whatever the case may be, right? So I agree. I think magic will prevail. I'm not terribly worried about that. But my question is, how will it prevail? Will people ditch the old and welcome the new, or will people continue the old and try to perfect it to a level that makes it undetectable?
Food for thought.
Yeah, there's some questions that haunt me. Anything today, we'll do something different and interesting today that you want the world of magic to know right now. Anything that you want to say to them, whether positive or negative, or about magic or about not magic, or just what do you want to pass on to the world of magic at this moment right now?
I guess, put your ego aside. We say that a lot, but it's about the love, and talk to people more. Don't walk up and do card tricks. Walk up and converse, and then do some card tricks, and then keep conversing. That's probably my advice for people. Yeah. What about you, Jonah?
I don't know. I would say right now what's most exciting to me is a question about a lot of the successes in what I do has been about two things. Number one, who you know, and then number two, what you're doing to get to know the people who relate back to number one. Exactly, who you need to know. So the question is, what are you doing right now to get in touch, get close, and build a relationship with the people that you need to know, because it's all about the people that you know.
Awesome.
Oh, you know what I wanted to bring up very quickly? I know that we were done here, but I have to bring this up. So 52 cards?
Yes.
Okay.
With a K?
Yeah. So they're the second mint deck, Mint 2 luxury playing cards on Kickstarter. It's been like, I don't know. Maybe it's been like a month or something. But it has $640,000. Almost, it's going to be $700,000, I think, before the project ends. It has like 3 or so days left. And
wow,
my Lanta, $640,000 for playing cards. And I don't mean that negatively. I mean that like I want to see the graph of playing card growth in the last 10 years, because that is ludicrous.
Yeah.
Right? Those numbers are crazy. So
yeah,
I'd love to know what you think about that. Number one, are you one of the 5,000 plus people that backed this project? And number two, what do you think about Kickstarter cards and things going this massive? This is the biggest I've ever seen any playing card funding thing ever. This is ludicrous. So
yeah,
let me know what you think. And otherwise, thanks for listening to 122. And there's some very cool episodes coming for you this month. We'll see you next Thursday. Till then, go to our Instagram. We're doing some crazy things, and it's growing very fast. We're going to be at 2,000 very, very soon, and you should be there for it.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.